Good morning, all. While they're preparing my slide, okay. I'm Chibuike, and I'm a director at Duchess. Duchess is an advertising technology company that uses programmatic technology to address specific advertisements to the right audience on mobile and on desktop. It allows organizations to reach their right customers with the right clicks, which helps them to generate higher return on investment and better conversion. This morning, I'll be talking about Africa's participation in social media. I don't know if you can see that clearly. In December 17, 2010, a young Egyptian man by name Mohamed Bouazizi. He's a young graduate who he's graduated, he hasn't got a job. He took to selling vegetables on the street, and he had a caravan around which he uses to sell. And like is obtainable in most African countries, police always harass you in your business illegally, asking for one thing or the other. And oftentimes, Mohammed gives them money, $17, $20, and they go. But on this particular day, there was bad market. And Mohammed didn't have money, and he resisted. I've been giving you money. Why? I can't give you money today. And the police brutalized him. They beat him up, scattered his things. And being someone below the class line, there was no way he could have expressed himself. He went to a nearby police station to lay a complaint, but there was no listening ear. The next thing Mohammed did was he went home, he got some fuel, came back to the police station, set himself ablaze. And it was drastic. A lot of people came to his rescue, but that was the beginning of a revolution in Africa. What happened? That incident attracted a lot of attention from around the globe. A lot of people from around that area started protesting that government has been doing this. This is extreme. And they started voicing out the grievances they've had over time against the government. And more people joined it. What happened? The government responded by using force to suppress the process. But of course, the more they used force, the more people got the pictures, posted it on social media, posted it on Twitter, posted it on Facebook, and it angered more and more people. And more people joined the procession. And before you know it, it was all over Tunisia. All the youths had the same voice. They were speaking. They were communicating on social media. They were posting images. Look, we don't agree. What do you want? We want change in government. Over time, the government was changed. From a young man setting himself ablaze to street protest, communications on social media, a strong force and communication was passed to the government that, look, you no longer have a stay here. You have to pack your load and go. A similar thing happened in Egypt. Also, the situation in Tunisia is similar to what is obtainable in Egypt. And a few Egyptian youths expressed themselves by protesting at the Tahrir Square, where they gathered and they sat and they wanted the government must do something before they leave. And the government, like is obtainable in most African countries too, felt it's just some youths who don't have anything to do and they are just making noise. You use force to suppress them. But they got it all wrong. While you were using force to suppress, the police were brutalizing people. They shot people. Those images were posted on Twitter, on Facebook, and it angered more people. And more people joined the crowd. The number of people that were in Tahrir Square kept expanding. They kept increasing. And what happened? In months coming, the government of Egypt was changed. In Nigeria, we had a similar experience in years prior to the 2015 election, where youths took to media, social media especially, to express the things that were happening in the Northeast. Boko Haram takes over a local government, it's all over the place in the next 1 hour. Wow. People are calling government and expressing the fact that though the government was doing something, but the government was not doing enough. They expected more. And social media was now used to express dissatisfaction on the rate of government action. And they had a group of online citizens who were totally dissatisfied with anything government was doing, and they were branding or reading the other way any statement that comes from public office holders. We could see such things like, my oga at the top, not only you waka come, and all those things. They seemed harmless, but they were precedent to something, because they were creating an impression in the youth, in the people, about the government. And what happened? We were approaching the election the next year. And by the time it got to election, of course, there was already an impression. There was already an idea. There was already something that, look, the internet citizens of Nigeria had impression about the government. I wouldn't want to go into what transpired between the both parties, but the outcome was that on the election day, they took to the internet to spread the news of the election. People from the world level, from local government levels, we are posting election results on the internet. So before they take the results from the booths, even up to collation centers, the result was already on the internet. So it was largely difficult for anybody to falsify or to change the results. And that prompt report at world level, it made independent observers to see that, okay, from what's coming in, you see that the result is tending towards a particular aspect. So you needed nobody to tell you that, look, probably there's going to be a change. These three scenarios explained how social media have really done things in Africa. This thing is not really bold, but what I have here, the adoption of social media in Africa has greatly affected the way we do things, the way we think, and the way we behave. Because Africa has a growing population. 53% of people in Africa are between the ages of, are below 35 years of age. And it keeps growing. And then the internet penetration in Nigeria is also growing. The use of social media is also growing. And if it could happen in Egypt, in Tunisia, and with the election in Nigeria, then that means the internet population through the social media is also growing and is gathering momentum and capacity to effect changes or major decisions in government, in business, and every aspect of life. The social media includes the online communities, the communication channels that enable people to communicate, interact, share content, and blog. And it's quite unique that the social media is really free and is unedited. So it allows people to talk about things that they couldn't have expressed themselves one-on-one. Believe you me, if you are to meet the senator from your geopolitical zone, it will take you a lot of time in Nigeria because you have to go pass through hurdles. But with social media, you're able to tell people that, look, this senator is not doing well, or this House of Reps member is not doing well. People are able to spread love, talk about relationships, spread tragedy, talk about revolution. And of course, the e-commerce businesses are also coming in to use the internet and the social media to also spread the good news about their products and services. And the government are also coming up to use the internet to listen and to also interact with the people. And the major platforms include Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn usually for professionals, the Wikipedia, the Pinterest for pictures, and then YouTube for videos. But our discussion this morning will center mostly on the first two. That's Facebook and Twitter. Because these ones have really affected the way people behave, the way people interact, and the way people do things. Before, like years back, the government would have looked at, the government would not take any simple post of a school-age boy in his village about a government policy to be serious. It'd be like the boy is ranting, or he has near or faint knowledge of what is happening in government, so he only expresses what he likes. And why should government and businesses be mindful of simple information or interaction or microblogs that are coming from people of less than 18 years of age? That was in time past. Social media has become an integral part of life, both online and offline. Most traditional online media such companies have search fields that you can use to comment and also talk about the post. I remember a post about the visit of the president to Niger Delta recently, and it was trending on the social media. There were different views that some say that the Ogoni boys or the Niger Delta Avengers were threatening the federal government, and some say that the federal government was going to, that the president was going to go there. But the day the news came in that that trip by the president has been assigned to the vice president, you could see the lists of comments from people after the news headline. Many people were commenting. Some said, I knew it was not going to happen. Some said, why should the federal government not go there? And it goes a long way to express that why the traditional media publish things on the internet, the social media has become a tool by these youths to communicate and also to express their own opinion as to what is happening in the society. Let's look at the numbers of social media in Africa. We have an estimated population of 1.1 billion people in Africa. And Africa constitutes 16% of the world population. And then we have 330 internet users, 330 million internet users in Africa. That's just about 28% of African population. And it's still growing. And then Facebook alone has 124 million of that population. And then the rest of the world has 45% internet penetration. And Africa has 25% internet penetration. And in my beginning of my slide, I had stated that the internet penetration in Africa is growing. And year in, year out, you see that it keeps growing. And it's estimated that in years to come, we could achieve 50% internet penetration. There have been many projects that have been aimed at improving the penetration of internet in Africa. One of them includes the Facebook Free Internet Program, which allows internet to reach the local people in parts of Africa that couldn't have reached internet. With this, they are able to express themselves. With this, school children in local villages are able to say what they want to say, communicate with people in any part of the world, communicate with somebody in US, UK, and say good morning. It has made the world a local village where you can get up and you tell somebody in Los Angeles, good morning, and the person responds. Now, the top 10 internet countries in Africa, number one is Nigeria with its 92 million internet users, followed by Egypt. I think that understands why the social media, the Twitter and Facebook, we are used as tools, and they successfully achieved the feat in the change of government in Egypt. The next is Kenya, then South Africa, Morocco, and the others follows. And believe you me, If Facebook, with its population, as in the internet usage of 1.5 billion, if they are to be a country, they'll be the third largest country in the world. Because if you have an entity that has that population, there's really nothing in this world that they cannot achieve. Be it decision making, be it opinions, be it in technology, be it in consumption, or whatever aspect. And over 60% of Africans are youth, and it keeps growing. And we have 9.8% of Africans on social media. South Africa has the longest people that stay on social media, about 3.2 hours a day, above the global average of 2.4 hours a day. And on social media, we don't just make choices as to whether we use social media, but it is a question of how well do we use social media. Because somehow, some way, you're using social media. You do a tweet to your friend. You do a chat. You're using social media. But it's how well do we now use the social media. With Africa's participation as low as 14% due to low internet penetration, social media will be a major determinant of business and government decisions globally. Because these people who we have neglected in time past, like 10 years back, that people between the ages of 30 and below were not really in decision-making positions. But they have come up with internet. They have come up to become the major decision makers in the social world. And their decisions have really affected the way things are done, the way government behaves, the way organizations interact, and the way you see your customers. And the dynamic features of social media is like, it's usually anonymous. Somebody is posting something from his bedroom, is going to the whole world. You don't really know where the person is posting it from, except maybe the security people can go somehow to get the IPs and know the locations. In last year and the previous years, when the Boko Haram was bombing and they sending the videos on the internet, they were still yet to find out the real sources where they are uploading those videos from. So the internet still remains to a large extent anonymous, and people still have the power to post things without you knowing where they are coming from. And another power is the fact that whatever is posted on social media goes viral. Yesterday I was listening to news where the present minister of Agric was responding to a post that went viral overnight. It was on the controversial grazing bill. The person that posted that thing must have said his church mind, not expecting that it was going to go viral. And before you know it, in a few hours, a lot of people are responding. A lot of people are saying, no, we don't agree. Some say, no, we should. And before the minister had to come out to clarify issues. Now, years back, it was really difficult, or it was really not practicable, that such things will automatically go viral and let everybody be boiling about it. And then social media is collective. Everybody is speaking one language. Everybody is saying one thing. Either we agree or we don't agree. Like the cases in Tahrir Square, where everybody was saying, no, we want change in government. Like the case in Tunisia, everybody was saying, no, we want change. And it was so hot that the global community also joined to say, we want this change, let the government go. Now, it's also infectious. Posts on social media have become part of the decision-making process. And they have also become part of the things that form impression of youths about governments, about organizations. You ask a 18-year-old person what he sees about the government, you'll be surprised that what he's telling you is a product of what he has seen on Facebook or what he has seen on Twitter. Because people are tweeting one thing about the government, a lot of people are believing that it's true. But some of those things may not always be true, but the fact that it is coming from the social media and a lot of people are talking about it, it seems to be true. Whether it's a propaganda or just a simple fabrication, but the fact that a lot of people have talked about it and a lot of people have agreed on it, it seems to be true. And then it's dangerously unedited. A lot of media houses have policies where you don't just go to the press and start publishing things without it going through the editorial process, and they look at it based on their policy to ensure that it doesn't negate their standings. But on social media, there's nothing like that. You could come up and say anything about somebody, a public office holder, and you hit him directly. And nobody's going to edit it. Nobody's going to say, no, this is too harsh. It goes there, and everybody is saying it. And if it applies the other fashions, it goes viral. And everybody says that, this person is bad, or this person is not doing anything. And it's visual. When you see posts on social media, they are often accompanied by visuals, videos, and images. You see, those ones, they attract more attention than the other parts or other posts that are also posted on the social media. So it expresses visual images of what is going on. And the power of social media has been demonstrated in many aspects, even in Nigeria. The Bring Back Our Girls hashtag was a major advantage of the mobilization that was done. Something that happened in northeast Nigeria, 220 girls were abducted from a secondary school in Chibuike. In a few months' time, you start seeing demonstrations, even outside the country. In many parts of the world, people demonstrating, bring back our girls. How did they mobilize them? The social media. The hashtag was so trending all over the world. BBOG, everybody, bring back our girls, bring back our girls. And also the political activities and the election monitoring has become very, very obvious things at the social media. Like in Kenya, where they use the Ushahidi to monitor election results. Also in Nigeria, where Facebook, Twitter, we also used to monitor election results. And the social media has also been used as a tool for resistance in government activities or resistance of public policies and opinions, like you've seen in Tunisia. And then corporate organizations are also not left out. They've adopted the social media to tell their brand stories. A lot of organizations now go to the social media to come up with things that attract customer engagement and also bring in new customers. Like we at Dutchess, we also use social media to tell a lot of our client stories where it creates good impressions of the organizations in the minds of their target customers and also existing customers. An organization both in banking sector and also other aspects have adopted social media as a major marketing tool to project their images to their organizations, to the customers in terms of branding and other things. And the celebrities also in the entertainment industry are also not left out. A major aspect is the Oscar Pistorius case, where most part of the issues surrounding that thing we are always discussed on social media. Also, there was a recent divorce in Nigeria of a celebrity, let me not mention names, where the first thing that was heard about that case was a post by the man on the internet about how dissatisfied he was. Before the wife could even say Jack, everybody was talking about it. What happened? She had no choice than to come out and own up. If it was before, if it was a print organization, should have been able to go and stop it, or should have been able to manage it. If it was a radio, they would have been able to manage it. But on social media, it was no longer possible for anybody to do anything about it. It was spreading like wildfire. And at the end, the marriage was dissolved. Now, the social media has implemented or affected Africa in many ways. It has brought democracy in Africa. It has democratized the way we make decisions, the way we talk, the way we interact. And it has become a voice in Africa, a voice of opinion. People agree or disagree on issues in Africa. And it has given freedom to those who are down, those who ordinarily would not have been able to express themselves or say anything in the committee of things, have used social media to say it out. Just like the Mohamed Bouazizi, if the social media wasn't effectively used, maybe Mohamed Bouazizi committing suicide would have gone unnoticed. If it has happened like 10 years back, when the social media wasn't strong and there was no way for the whole world to know about it, it would have gone unnoticed. They would have been able to manage it and they have been able to suppress it. But right now, it was not possible. It gives freedom to the common man to talk, to express themselves, to share love, and to have a collective involvement in both business, politics, and every aspect of life. And social media has become a great influencer in the way we think, the way we behave. Because a lot of impressions so many people have about brands, political office holders, about some music, is what they've got on social media. It's a tweet. People keep tweeting about it. People keep talking about it. Before you know it, it becomes a household name. And it has made the world a global village. Now, 93% of marketers use social media for business. They use it to learn about their customers, to reach new audience, to improve customer service, to gain market share. There's a particular brand in Nigeria where if you post something about them on Twitter, they'll simply tell you that you should send them a mail. Because they are managing it effectively so that you don't just go and start posting that you had a very bad experience when you walked into their office. Before you say that, they already comment that, please explain it to us, let's handle it. So that when you post it on social media, it becomes very difficult for them to manage. But with effective management of their social media, they've been able to get the customers to speak to them directly. And a number of customers who will not want to talk to the executives expressed it on social media, and the organizations picked it up. And social media has also been used to reach new customers in areas where organizations wouldn't have been able to address their customers. Also, the potentials in government are quite enormous, but majorly, the government must use social media to listen to the voice of their citizens. A lot of things are going on there. A lot of youths are talking. Middle-aged people are talking. They are saying things that they wouldn't have said to the government face-to-face, but they're expressing their opinions. The government needs to listen to what is going on social media. Then they can use also the social media to engage citizens in constructive and policy-wise decisions. They use the social media to make orientation about major policies that are coming up or things that are happening, and also to create awareness about the policies of the government, and also to test the waters. I say a number of public office holders, like politicians, they do post on social media just to see what is going to happen. There's a particular person in Nigeria that is termed a social media senator. And the fact is that the man is good at using social media, but he has a lot of followers. Even if he has said something that is negative, a lot of people react to it. A recent one was a visit to the house where he was prevented from shaking the president. It's a harmless thing, or it's a minute thing. But the fact that he took to the social media to express such things, the whole place was boiling. Some saying, why should he? Others were saying, why shouldn't he? And the man was simply testing his popularity, and he has achieved it. He's very popular on the internet. If that man goes on the internet to say anything, it boils all around the internet that the senator is talking. Now, the social media has become, it's not too clear. It's not too clear. Now, rounding up, social media has become a tool that it can no longer be ignored by government, by people in policy, by businesses, because the experiences have shown that it is suicidal for any organization or government to ignore the social media. And the use of social media has been mainly on informal news, sports, gossips. And with 1.5 billion people and just 300 million having access to the internet, the potential is quite enormous. And as it grows, it reaches a stage that the population would make a decision on the internet, on the social media, and simply go offline to implement. Thank you.